So Gone Tomorrow Here Today is the first track on Ripcord. I wrote it with Jeff Basker and Tyler Johnson. I had this banjo riff, which is really what opens the song up, and this melody, and it was so fun writing this song because it was its own beast, sort of thematically, and everything about the song felt very unique to itself. I really wanted to open the album with it as well because the sentiment was really important to me. It's really important to me to be in the moment like we are right now. And opening up the album also with the very first lyric, "A child held up in the sky, to sunset youth we say goodbye. But I won't live with regret, carpe diem is the secret." I wanted that to be the opening statement for the record because it's the beginning. It's the beginning of it all. John Cougar, John Deere, John 3:16. This is a song that I was sent by the writers, and the very day I got this song, I loved it. I loved it straight away. I grabbed my acoustic guitar and started playing along with it. And I was going to be playing at this event called CRS, which is Country Radio Seminar, which happens here in Nashville. Happened here in Nashville last year. And it was at the Ryman, and I just had to do one acoustic song at this particular performance I was doing. And at the last second chose to do that song, even though I basically just learned it. And I wanted to see how it felt, and I played it acoustic, and it seemed to make a connection with everybody like immediately. So we went into the studio probably not more than a week later and recorded this song. I was a long way off finishing the album, but we recorded this song, and it came together really fast once I figured out the bass. There was a bass hanging on a wall, so I grabbed the bass and played that and sang, and the song just came to life. So we released it as the first single off the album. One of the great things about how long this record took to make was that I was still writing songs. I mean, even though I had a lot of the record done, or certainly I had 2 albums worth of material done, but I didn't feel like Ripcord as such was fully finished yet. And I went and wrote a song with 2 guys called Greg Wells and Jay Abrahart, who I'd never met, but we got together, and the first thing we wrote was Wasted Time. And again, it was just a song about, I guess, the shared experiences the 3 of us had. Greg grew up in Canada, and Jay grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and I grew up in Australia, and yet the 3 of us had the same kind of memories of growing up and just goofing off in the little town you're from, and drinking and smoking and hanging out down by the river and the rope swing, and all the imagery was pretty universal for the 3 of us. So we wrote this song, we recorded it pretty quick as well, and it seemed like the perfect 3rd single off this album, with the summer coming, and I'm so happy it's out and everyone's responding to it. Some songs for me just speak right from the very opening line, and this song, "I'm no stranger to the love of a lowly vice, drown my liver and I gamble with my pride." I know this person so well, and so this song was really, it meant a lot to me. I'm glad we got to record it. I'm super glad it's on this record. This is called Habit of You. One of the things in making Ripcord was I wanted to reach out to people I really admired and hadn't worked with yet, producers particularly, and one of them was Nile Rodgers, who I've been a big fan of all my life, really. He's a phenomenal guitar player, phenomenal producer, phenomenal songwriter, and I just wanted to be in the studio with him to see if we could dance, we could metaphorically dance together. And we finally got a chance to do that, and we spent a night in New York in a studio and just jammed and jammed and jammed on so many ideas, and a lot of these ideas became songs. The first one that we really finished out with the help of a guy called Mike Busby was a song called Sun Don't Let Me Down. And this is another example of things happening late in the piece, where we wrote the song, we'd recorded it, there was a piece in the middle of the song that was sort of just a musical piece. It was kind of a breakdown, and then we were like, we don't know what to do with that, we'll worry about that later. And we basically finished the song, and then we were doing other things. And one day I was out somewhere, and I heard a song by Pitbull, and his voice hit me. And I've heard it so many times, but it hit me in such a way. I just said, we got to have him on this song. It's the perfect song for him. We sent him the track. Luckily, he loved the track. And I just said, here's your space. Just do anything you want to do. And he just blasted this incredible verse and sent it back to me. And it really finished it out. This is Sun Don't Let Me Down. There's a song on the record called Getting in the Way that I wanted to do very, very early on, probably early to middle of last year. I had this song earmarked to be recorded and put on the record. And I got with Dan Huff, who I'd worked with a lot in the past. We did quite a few songs on this album, and this track was one of them. We were recording at a place called Ocean Way, which is a big, huge, gorgeous church. Really, it's a recording studio, but it's an old church here in Nashville. And it has the most amazing sound when you play drums and have a band set up in this big space. And I heard this song in more of a sort of anthemic, arena sounding space. And Ocean Way was the perfect place to capture all that. We had Matt Chamberlain on drums, Pino Palladino on bass. We had an amazing band in there. It was a blast to do it. This is going to be really fun live as well, and this is Getting in the Way. With this record, I think I was also wanting to find songs and write songs that were different to what I'd done in the past, just that felt different for me. This song called Blue Ain't Your Color came along, and again, it was just one of those songs that I loved immediately. I loved the lyric, I loved the melody, the feel, and it's basically a waltz, you know, like a 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. But I didn't want it to feel like a waltz, you know. So when we recorded the song at Starstruck Studios here in Nashville, again with Matt Chamberlain, Pino Palladino, we kept it a little more robotic sounding, so it wasn't a straight band. It was a little more machinery, rhythmically, and I think it kept, hopefully for me at least, it kept it in a unique place that allowed the story to be really, to have a lot of space. Last year, I found myself in London for quite a few months, and I needed to keep working on the record. And so Busby, who I'd written Sun Don't Let Me Down with, along with Niall, I loved working with him. I said we should work a little more together. So I brought him over to London, and we were working on a song, and I had this idea for a call and response song. I wanted a guy and a girl to be basically talking to each other in the song. So it's not the traditional duet. It was more a song, it needed to be a song of reassurance in a relationship. So the girl is asking, what if I fall? And the guy simply says, I won't let you fall. And she says, and if I cry, I'll never make you cry. And if I get scared, I'll hold you tighter. When they're trying to get to you, baby, I'll be the fighter. And so it was as simple as that. And so we wrote the song pretty quick. It just came together very quick. And I just wrote from the heart, and then we needed a girl, and Carrie Underwood's voice was there in my head, and we called Carrie, and thankfully she loved the song, and she just took it to the whole other level. You guys all know this song. This is the second single off the record, Break On Me. Again, it was a song that we recorded fairly early on, so we hadn't finished the album yet, but I love the song, and it's even though it was the second single off the album, it actually falls quite a ways into the record because I love putting sequences together. When I sequence the album, for me, it hopefully, for you guys too, hopefully it falls just at the right spot. A friend of mine called Joe Fisher sent me this song called Boy Gets a Truck, and he said to me, he goes, before you don't even listen to this song because of the title, listen to the song because I think you're going to love this. And he was right. It wasn't about what the title so simply sort of says. I mean, it is, but it was so much more than that for me. It was such a sort of circle of life song, all put into one rapid fire kind of chorus. I was amazed at the song when I heard it. The demo that we had was fairly simple, and I wanted it more anthemic, sort of bigger. And again, we were working at Ocean Way, Dan Huff and I, and it was the perfect place to get this song born and brought to life. So Busby and I wrote this song called Your Body, which is a song we were writing the day before when we wrote The Fighter. So we wrote Your Body on one day and The Fighter the next day. And Busby had this cool idea for the song, and really we were just talking about that place, that person that you go to where everything makes sense. You know, the idea of the city, you know, and being sort of stuck in that 9-to-5 kind of machine, stuck in the machine vibe was really what the opening of the song is about, and just wanting to get to that place where everything is real and the stars align and everything makes sense, and that's really what the song's about. Last year I started hearing songs from this kid called Johnny Price, who comes from Brooklyn up in New York, and he writes and co-writes these unusual, unique kind of songs that were really starting to resonate with me. And one of the songs I heard of his was it was called That Could Still Be Us, and gosh, it was just one of those songs I wished I'd written, because I know this person in the song, I know this couple so well. And I'd never worked with him before, but I said we should probably go in and record this song together. So it was just the two of us, and Johnny played everything that you hear on this. I just sang. It's the first, but here it is. I wanted to finish the record on an up note. Originally I was finishing with That Could Still Be Us, but I wanted I like to lean into the light. I like to, no matter what's going on in life, and I've been through a lot of stuff, I want to try and at least lean in to things getting better, kind of. I don't fake it till I make it, I'm trying to face it till I make it. And so I wanted to end on an up note, and this song, Worry About Nothing, for me was just had all of that sentiment, and it's fun to play. And I like the fact that the song starts with a child held up in the sky and being in the moment, and finishes with, I ain't never gonna worry about nothing again.